Hello and welcome everybody to the latest edition of Midweek Matters. Charlie.
Jimmy, how are we?
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
That's good, mate.
Doing good.
Just
Doing
okay.
Really good. No, not okay. Really good.
Yeah, really good. Yeah,
Bouncing.
nice. Bouncing up and down.
Yeah.
Big news as well that we've got to get to. I can almost just straight away forget the niceties. Just straight into the big stuff. We're going to be doing our first ever live show for the
live
buy
show.
round.
Yes, we are. And in Brisbane.
In Brisbane at the Lord Alfred Hotel, all thanks to Ladbrokes at Ladbrokes venue, the Lord Alfred Hotel.
Before Origin 2, right?
Before Origin Game 2, it's going to be you and two Origin legends. We won't reveal who they are now, but all I can say is they are as big as they come. Origin record holders. Okay?
I'm looking forward to it.
Get excited. And the way you do sign up, so it's basically food and drinks are included as well. We're not going to make you come to watch us and then
The full package.
you obviously get free beer and some food.
An hour or 2 hours?
So it's an hour show, and then there's going to be like an hour meet and greet as well. So a couple of hours there at the Lord Alfred Hotel. Good way to start your Origin. I know everyone in Queensland, they clock off at lunchtime anyway. So when you clock off early from work, come on down.
What a great way to start the Origin festivities if you're there.
And it's on Caxton Street as well, so you could start there, have a couple of drinks, watch the show, and then just hang around that area until, 7 o'clock going to the stadium. So obviously you jump on the Instagram, our Instagram, and then you follow the link there. And then in 25 words or less, we want to know which 3 current or ex-NRL players would you have in your Ladbrokes Mates Mode group. So get your thinking caps on for that one.
I've got my thinking cap on. First off, I'd include me.
Yeah, well, I mean, sure.
And then why would you need 25 words to type out 3 names?
No, but maybe it's a little bit of a chance to explain it. So, hey, so I'll go Peter Sterling. Why? Because he loves his horse racing.
Well, there you're gonna
covering
be cutting it fine on your. You're just gonna have to put one name.
Well, Peter Sterling horse racing.
If a few double barrelers around.
Yeah, well then that's gonna Corey Harawira-Naira.
Is that going to count as one?
Well, no,
word,
he won't make.
That's
That's 3 words. So he's not making my list just because of his name economy.
Yeah.
Can't waste a word on Corey Harawira-Naira.
Jared
Also, is he a good
Hargraves.
punter? I don't know.
Yeah. All these double barrelers, they've not thought about this.
Yeah,
Regan Campbell-Gillard.
Harley Smith-Shields, lesser known player, but maybe you'd have him in there.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know.
If you've got a word to spare, you can consider it. Anyway, the point of it
is there any like Ronaldo footballers who just have one name? No, there isn't, is there? Well, yeah, you go, Jimmy. The point is basically that we want you to sign up. We can't wait to come meet you as well because you haven't had the opportunity to do a live show yet with the Byron audience, have you?
No, it's the first one, so I'm really excited about it, and what a better place to do it than up and get the vibe of Origin 2, especially up there. It's such a fantastic place to be, and what a way to kickstart the day of Origin.
Absolutely. And there's some T's and C's that apply, so make sure you check out ladbrokes.com.au. So yeah, make sure you check out T's and C's are available on the Ladbrokes website.
Yeah, cool. Well, let's kick things off, hey?
Yeah, let's do it, Jimmy. And there's one place we've got to start. It's the St. George Illawarra Dragons have sacked Anthony Griffin. Some will say finally. The inevitable has happened. He's no longer the coach. And how are you feeling about that, Jimmy?
Yeah, look, I think it's been coming. They lost, I think it was 5 games in a row. They're all very tight games. And then I think they were away in Brisbane and they were away in Brisbane for Magic Round, didn't come back to Sydney, straight up to, had a bit of a camp before, and they played the Cowboys. But like, I think they had to move. He was not going to be the coach there next year anyway. And even that said, the results this season weren't good enough. And unfortunately, like, I'm not a fan of sacking any coaches, but I understand it's part of the beast. It's a necessary evil. I liked Anthony Griffin, but look, it's next year or not next year. Really, he had to go based off the results.
Yeah, but I mean, why didn't they just do it at the end of last season? I know at the end of last season they nearly made the 8. They were around it, but it's been disappointing. The Anthony Griffin era has been disappointing at the Dragons. If they knew they didn't want to have him, just why they've left him at this point now, where it's like, all right, Jason Ryles is the man they want, but they're talking about offering him 5-year deal. Like, that's a lot for a rookie coach.
It is,
and it's a tough job. Like, I think
maybe that's just the recognition of just how tough it is.
Yeah. But it's not. It's probably a job that's not for a rookie coach. It's probably a job that needs someone with who's experienced and also can tell the board to get stuffed and just run the club.
Well, it's one of those jobs, Charlie, that people can say that, and it is. Like, it's a job that's going to need someone to tell the board where to go and run the show, but those keys aren't going to be handed over lightly. Like, I can't envisage, unless you get one of those strong dictators like a Bennett, a Bellamy, a Hasler, that go, I'm running the show, you keep up there. I don't know if that will happen. Then you've got to look, okay, we need a coach that can develop young talent. So your Ramones, your Sloans, your Sullivans, and some of the other players that are there, the Couchmans of the world. So you need a coach that can develop. And then you've got a decent squad at the moment, and they're underperforming by the quality of the roster. But let's look not too far ahead. You need a coach or a person in the organisation that can attract top-level talent. Ben Hunt isn't getting any young. Well, sorry, I hate that phrase. Ben Hunt is getting at an age where he's very close to the end. That's a big amount of money to be freed up. I imagine, if you're a talented player, how far are the Dragons? And I don't say this lightly. How far are the Dragons off becoming the Tigers, where those star players go?
I think they're already there, Jimmy. I think they are already a club that most top level players wouldn't want to go to.
It's sad to hear that.
Well, I mean, look at their roster. You say their roster is underperforming. They've got one Origin player, Ben Hunt. That's it. They got a really young spine. Maybe those players improve, but I think at this point, if you're a big name that comes available, you're not going to want to go to the Dragons. The same as you're not going to want to go to the Tigers. To be fair, mate, the Tigers have done actually quite well recruiting some players. They've got Bateman, Coruscant. I don't know if Coruscant was available, you wouldn't want to go to the Dragons.
No.
They're in that same boat. It's a bit of just a basket case of a club at the moment.
Well, that's where you get a good operator in that can attract players and know how to attract players.
So is Jason Ryles that man then?
Well, the positive thing about Jason Ryles is he's got good connections from his time at the Roosters and at the Storm.
Yep.
So he's going to have relationships with those players. And that's not necessarily them going after those particular players. It's about, the networking that goes on. Oh, he's a really good coach, Ryles. He'll get the best out of you.
And Nathan Brown is great at recruiting as well. Yeah. And they're getting involved in the recruitment.
Well, if Nathan Brown comes in, that would be a start because he knows how to, sell the vision of the club.
Yeah.
That's what sometimes recruitment is about.
Do you reckon it's a mistake that the Dragons didn't get Ryles locked in before Anthony Griffin was sacked? Because now kind of Ryles has all the power. He's got the Dragons in some ways bent over the barrel. He's like, I want 5 years. His price tag goes up a little bit as soon as Anthony Griffin's sacked.
Oh, look.
Because what's their plan B? It looks like they've thrown all their eggs in the basket of Jason Ryles.
Well, didn't they go after Slater?
Yeah, but, I mean, that was a pipe dream, wasn't it? If Slater's not going to take the Storm job, he's not going to take the Dragons job.
Yeah. Ryles does have... But I think, you couldn't just keep hooking a job there because you're waiting for Ryles to agree or not agree. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
So, I don't know. And, we talk about Ryles. Like, there's no guarantees he's going to say yes.
No. I mean,
like I
if
think
the number's big enough and the 5-year deal.
5-year deal. Cameron Sorrell.
He lives in that area as well.
Yeah, Cameron Sorrell, they've got a 5-year deal. I think it's, and the Bulldogs is a big long-term project. And the Dragons are in a similar boat, undoubtedly. So, I think 5 years. Really that the sad thing or the sad reality of the 5-year deal is, you are basically saying to the fans, well, we've got a bit of, there's not much optimism for the next couple of years, and unless you can bring in new talent, which I don't think there's anybody signed there for next season. The good thing, the other club I mentioned there, the Bulldogs, they bring in Kickout, they bring in Marnie, they bring in the Fox.
Crichton
for next year. So...
Well, they've actually done a really good job, the Bulldogs, considering where they were. But the other thing about the Dragons is they kind of need to figure out how they can own that pathway system. It's such a rich rugby league area in the Illawarra and the Wollongong area. I mean, they should be dominating that. It feels like lots of different clubs have Illawarra juniors. So how have those other clubs ended up with those players? Like,
unknown.
They've got to make sure that they're looking after their best talent coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. And, they've seen the fruits of that with people like Laurie and Lomax. And then obviously recently Couchman, Sloan, Amon, Sullivan. But really is what you for the development pathways, the potential that those lads have, you'd want to see one of them like dominating. They want to produce someone that dominates. It was interesting to hear Cooper Cronk on 360 the other night and talking about Craig Bellamy and how without him, he'd just be a regular first grader, play 100, 150 NRL games. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great achievement. But look where Cooper went on to. So, there's lots of different elements. But, you'd like to think that maybe Sloan or Sullivan or Amone will be on, a panel show in 10 years' time, maybe sat here on the byline and go, oh, well, if it wasn't for Jason Ryles coming in, I'd have been stuck in a rut and I'd just been a regular first grader. But he came in and, kick-started my career and now an Origin Australia, Tongan player, whatever it may be. And
maybe that's the biggest knock on Anthony Griffin, that he hasn't developed those young players coming through. He isn't maybe the best at, taking young players and turning them into stars. That's maybe something he's struggled with over his whole coaching career.
Yeah, perhaps it is. But then again, you look at the impact he had on those Brisbane Broncos juniors that he sort of nurtured through. But look, it hasn't worked out for Hook.
Yeah.
It hasn't. And look, the Dragons have made a decision finally. When the writing's been on the wall for months, and people may look back and go, why didn't you sack him then? At the end of last year, they were 12-12. Maybe it was a financial decision. I don't know, but they've got to get this appointment right. Just
quickly before we get some fans on, because we're going to get a couple of Dragons fans involved here. Just want to know, what did you make of the Dragons players being put up for media?
Again, they just dig a hole for themselves. Like, why would you do that? Like, I know they've got obligations, but you can just say, no players available today, look. And then I think no media goes and complains. They go, okay, we know what's coming. Like, what media outlet wants to... Did anyone run any of the press conferences? Like, what's the point in running the... Oh, hey, thoughts on this? Your coach is under pressure. When like an hour later, he's going to get sacked.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to run any of that media.
No.
The only thing is embarrasses the club even further.
And waste the players' time.
Not even, it just embarrasses the club even more. You can't even get a sacking right. You can't manage that correctly. Like, you feel for the players that would have been sat in those, that just... already feeling like crap. No one likes being in a losing situation, but just like, don't set yourself up to fail. Just use common sense. Like, you've got rules and regulations in there. Oh, well, we're obligated. Get rid of that. Listen, boys, now.
What's the NRL going to do if those players aren't available that day? They're not going to punish them.
Well, I think
clubs manage those situations all the time.
What you do is NRL be like, please explain, and you go, hello.
Yeah.
We were sacking our coach. That's why we didn't put the players up.
Yeah.
We'll make up for it. Come on. Surely you understand. And I imagine they go, yeah, I can see why you did that. But I don't know whether it's like it's got to go up such a high chain of command to get the okay, to get ticked off. Or someone just was like, whoever was in charge of making that decision should, lads, it's off. And take the responsibility. Or whether there was a fear on making that decision. Or we've got to go up. We've got to go up higher. Oh, I don't know.
Maybe it's communication issues as well. Maybe it's just a communication issue as well. Like, they're not telling the media manager that, hey, this is about to drop. They've just got to tick their box that they've got to tick.
Well, yeah, you know what? Perhaps it's the fear of it leaking. Yeah. We can't tell the media guy because then it's going to... But then, as soon as the press conference is called off, you know what's coming. Doesn't take Albert Einstein to figure that one out, does it?
No. It's a mess, Jimmy. It's a mess. And we obviously know how you're feeling. You're feeling very fired up.
Well, look, I care about the Dragons. I do. I spent two and a half great years there. Loved my time there. Didn't work out in the end. I hold no ill feelings towards them. But and I've got mates there as well. That like former teammates of mine. I don't want to see them have to suffer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I want to see them flourish and them do well. Like Blake Laurie. Yeah, like that poor kid puts his heart and soul every week. Like plays it goes above and beyond, and yeah, it's just.
When you were at the Dragons as a player, were there signs that the club was a mess? Would you sometimes roll your eyes at some of the things that happened, or has this situation just hit a real steep decline over the last couple of years?
Well, winning solves everything, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and it covers up a lot of the cracks. So in 2018, when we first rock up there, we were winning, and we hit a bit of a form slump towards the end, but we got through the playoffs round one and beaten by Souths with 3 field goals. So the place was a buzz. Everyone was buzzing because winning solves everything. But then some CEO changes, and this isn't knocking the CEO that came in, and some off-field situations came to hand, and that was difficult to handle, understand that. But then they've just never really rebuilt since that. And yeah. But look, I think the consensus is it's going to be a long job.
Yeah, absolutely. Many years of struggle potentially for the Dragons. So, Jimmy, thank you for letting us know how you feel. And that was all thanks to Tui's.
Thanks, Tui's.
How do you feel?
I feel like a Tui's.
Or 2.
Or 3.
Well, or 3. Maybe the Dragons need 4 or 5.
Yeah, a
lot. But let's bring in some fans and see how they're feeling. We're going to do a couple of fans from the Dragons, and we'll start off with Liam Farah. Have you got us there, Liam?
Yeah, I'm here. How you doing?
Very good, mate.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Liam. As a Dragon supporter, can you just sum up how you're feeling at the moment?
Yeah, I guess it's frustrating more than anything. I guess, yeah, everyone's still left in limbo. It's not just the decisions that have been made in the last 24 hours. I think have been the issue. I think it's stemmed back from really the start of the season and the decisions or the calls that were made by the board way back in February. So I guess, yeah, it's just still for fans in particular, just still left in limbo, and there's still more questions and answers, even with the decisions in the last 24 hours. So, yeah, definitely, obviously, frustration is the biggest one, but yeah.
So you think due to those decisions in February, they were set up to fail almost?
Yeah. I mean, you look at how success is created, and I just don't think success can be built when you tell your coach that he has to re-interview for the job, and then you have players like Benny Hunt coming out publicly and saying that they pretty much were told that they had to win a certain amount of games, or Hook was going to get hooked essentially. So. And the common saying, which you would know, Jimmy, is that success starts at the front desk. And yeah, I think that there's still a lot of issues that need to be addressed within the club. Not to say that the coaching position wasn't an issue and definitely need to be addressed. I think there's still accountability on Hook's side and what he brought to the club. But yeah, there's definitely a lot more to it, that's for sure.
Yeah, so moving forward, you're thinking whoever comes in isn't going to be able to fix it by themselves. Do you think the other positions need to change as well?
Yeah, more so I think you look back, I think whoever comes in, I think they can turn the club around, but they just need to be allowed to bring in who they want. They pretty much just need to be given the keys to the castle, so to speak, and just have it done their way. I think you look back to Mary McGregor when he was towards the end, like he didn't even know who was going to be playing sort of number one towards the end of it because he wasn't even getting to make any calls on the team whatsoever. So I think whoever comes in can definitely turn it around, but they just need to obviously have the backing from the board, and more importantly, they just need to be able to bring in sort of who they want, and just give them the keys of the castle and just run it how they would, and have a say in.
I think you're onto something there in terms of being given keys to the castle and get full ownership of this, but I just don't know if it's going to come, unfortunately. I think people are very reluctant to hand those keys over. But mate, thank you for joining us here on the background. We appreciate your time and your conversation. It was quality.
Awesome, no problem, boys. Thanks very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Cheers, mate. All right, Bruce. Thanks for joining us here on the buy round. You're talking with James Graham and Charlie White. Passionate Dragons fan. Can you just sum up how you're feeling at this present moment?
A lot of disappointment, I guess, but it's, to be honest, no one knows what the hell's going on there. It's chaos. Like the board. Yeah, obviously the two different boards is causing chaos and like, yeah, it's a lot of frustration, really.
Yeah, where does that frustration point towards? Like, you mentioned the board. It's almost an impossible board for anybody, for any members out there to sort of protest. Well, you can protest, but they're pretty hard to oust. If I recall that the way the Constitution is written at the St. George Illawarra Dragons. So where as a fan, does that add to the frustration as a fan that your voice doesn't really get heard and it's hard to affect change at that level?
Well, 100%, because you probably know more than me, but they had two, but you're not even allowed to vote on them because they're sort of the football board and then a leagues club board or something. Is that correct? Or
yeah, I believe so. Yes, I even believe that in order to make decisions, the board need to be unanimous, which is well,
the two biggest basket cases in the comp are the Tigers and the Dragons, and they've both got two different split boards.
Is there a potential solution you see with this, Bruce?
Oh no, this is going to drag on for a long time.
So
especially even with the bloke that bought it from MBN, like he's put money in it too, but I don't know, has he got too much to say? I don't know how much football knowledge he's got, but he doesn't look like he wants to part with his money that easy, because he held on to McGregor probably a bit longer than he should, and then even now, Griffin, like everyone's seen the writing on the wall at the start of the year when two blokes wanted to leave, two young blokes. So,
what do you reckon, Bruce, about giving Jason Ryles a 5-year deal? Obviously, it's a very long-term deal for a rookie coach.
100, yeah, I get that, but all right, 5 might be a bit much, but at the same time, it gives him. Things aren't going to happen next year or 2 years down the track. At least he's got a bit of time to get some players on board, and I think he's going to bring Brownie with him as recruitment. So what he's done at Newcastle and the Warriors, hopefully we can get some younger, because that's been our biggest. Even though we've got such a big base down the South Coast, we're not really producing, and even the ones we are, the coaches aren't getting the best out of them, like Sloane, Sullivan and Moan, our best juniors, and to be honest, they haven't really lived up to what they possibly should have. So
you make a fair point there, Bruce, about the player development. Even with a guy like Zach Lomax, like he was touted as one of the best up and coming centres for a long time. On the cusp of New South Wales selection. I think even as a 19-year-old, he was in the sort of extended squad. So obviously that New South Wales had identified something in him almost before he'd even played a first grade game, and we're looking to get him familiarize him with the Origin surroundings, and that hasn't happened. But in terms of the future going forward, like, are you optimistic as a fan? And is Jason Ryles the man that you want?
Well, I don't have a problem with him, but optimistic wise, this is not going to go away quick like this. There's a few years left in this.
Years of struggles yet to endure.
Well, the looks of it, Ben Hunt's going to go too. You're in the kennel. He could be heading your way, Jimmy. Could he possibly? But at the same time, he's on 1.3, so that's going to free up a bit of money. Even though we'll probably have to still pay a bit of his check, but it frees up a bit, and then it's a fresh start. And like the Bulldogs, what they did, so they're sort of heading in the right direction. But I don't know, and everyone bags out Gus Gould, but at the same time, like, he knows his stuff. And I don't know if we got someone like that at the Dragons to do the same thing. But going back to the Zach Lomax thing, you obviously would have played a bit with him. He signed, I had big raps on him. He signed for $600,000, I think, end of 2018, start of 2021, I think. And just I don't know, it was an attitude thing if he was reading his own press, but how he played, like the no-look passes and that thing when he jumped on Frizzell, and then he took the mickey out of the coach on the footy show or not. Like, I don't know if it was more attitude than everything, but that comes back to the coach and identify and get the best out of your players.
Yeah.
Going back to the other question, few years left of this pain, but I don't know who else we had Flanagan at the club and they let him go. So apart from Ryles, who else do you really sign? Like Hornby's probably a few years away. Dean Young, okay, he's been the Cowboys, but you look at them this year, they probably haven't gone on with it. So how much form can you take out of like last year and him being there? And then you got other blokes like Desi Hazza who wouldn't have a problem with, but at the end of the day, whoever goes in there has got to be strong, and he's got to, like Wayne Bennett, he's got to just say, well, you got to leave it to me, boys, otherwise this is going to continue. So, yeah, I don't think old Hook had the same sort of, he was sort of searching for a job and he got the job. Probably got what he.
Yeah, you make some very good points there, Bruce, and appreciate you coming on as well, mate, and having a chat with us.
All right, boys, take it easy, eh?
Take
Cheers,
care.
mate.
See ya.
We're going to take a quick break from the show to talk about our new partner, AG1. Now, I love AG1. I've been taking them for about 6 months now. I've noticed multiple health benefits. My gut feels better. My focus is more clear. My intensity in my workouts has gone up as well. And this is all thanks to AG1. It's the one-stop solution for all your supplement needs. I love starting my day with a refreshing glass of AG1. So simple. One scoop in the glass, some cold water, give it a stir, or if you want to go fancy and get the shake, do that as well. But it's so easy. It takes out the guesswork with your supplement requirements. If you miss it in the morning, take it at night. I never miss a day with AG1, and I am reaping the rewards from it. And the best thing about it is it tastes great too. And you can really start to feel the benefits. Have it as a simple part of your routine and you'll see the benefits too. So if you're looking to make positive change with your health outcomes, check out AG1. You will not be disappointed. There's 75 high quality ingredients. Take care of all your nutritious needs every single day. It's a small habit that you start and gets big results. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. So to check out this exclusive buy round listeners deal, head to athleticgreens.com/buy round. That's athleticgreens.com/buy round. Your only place to get the free 1-year supply of vitamin D from Athletic Greens plus 5 free travel packs. Make sure you check it out or click in the show notes where we'll have that link for you as well. Please don't delay and get your athletic greens today.
All right, well, let's move on then, Jimmy, because there is a lot of rugby league, not just rugby league, there is a lot of rugby league stuff on the field to talk about. And the World Cup looks like it is not going to be happening in France.
It's not happening. It's not looking like.
Yeah.
They can't meet the financial obligations of the French government. And this really saddens me, Charlie. It really does. Like, I love our international game. And the frustrating thing is that this is not the first time this has happened. There was a World Cup that was supposed to go to North America, and that got pulled for financial reasons. And just... I love playing for my country. I speak to players now, and they love playing for their country. They love those overseas tours or competitions. France would have been fantastic to have it there, and it could have had a real impact on the game in France as well, which I think has so much potential, so much upside. Trent Robinson, obviously one of the great coaches here in the NRL. He was going to coach the French national team. I imagine he still will, but to have it in France, he could have captured an audience there. So disappointing. And yeah, I don't know where our international game is at.
Yeah.
And it it pisses me off, Charlie, because it should be at the very top of the game, and Origin's overtaking that, and I get that. I just don't know where we go from here as an international sport. Like, maybe Volandis, Abdo, the NRL take it over. I don't know. I imagine Troy Grant wouldn't be too happy with that, but we've just got to get a plan, and we've got to get it right, because we're underutilising our international game.
Especially the last few years with the emergence of Samoa, Tonga, they've become real powerhouses in the game. That World Cup we had was one of the most closest World Cups we've ever seen. Yeah,
well, the same in the one in 17, which was amazing to be a part of, and then the following one in 21 or 22. Yeah, in 21.
A positive is it might be here in Australia.
Well, but like...
Do you think we just need to focus on other areas of growth internationally, and having a World Cup in Australia is kind of a bit redundant in a sense?
Charlie, I don't know.
What about taking it to New Zealand and the Pacific Islands?
Yeah, I mean, that would be good. I think just the fact that we've lost one in France, we've lost one in America. I don't know. Maybe we just forget it. I shouldn't say it, forget international football. I don't know.
It's still, even though Origin is considered the pinnacle, you speak to players, and a lot of the players still, Kangaroo players still say playing for Australia meant more to them than playing for New South Wales or Queensland.
And that's great, but we don't even have we have a sprinkling of games organised for the end of this season that only just got announced. Like, Tonga are going to England, which is great, but it only just got announced, and what's happening next year?
Yeah, we need to get that calendar fixed.
Yeah, or we don't know where the next World Cup's going to be, which I believe is at the end of
2025.
Yeah, so less than
18 months away.
Far out, man. No,
24 months away. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, let's hope it gets sorted, because I care about the international game. I really do.
Let's talk some positive stuff then, Jimmy. The round kicks off, round 12 tonight, and it is, I reckon, possibly the game of the year.
This is huge, isn't it?
Broncos v the Panthers. The Panthers showed last week that they still are an unstoppable force when they get it right, and they're going against the Broncos, who, although they lost last week and they'll be without Adam Reynolds this week, I still think they're a good chance of giving Panthers a run for their money.
See, I think this is a huge game, and a huge game for the Panthers defensively. Let's not forget, Brisbane beat them in round one. Brisbane played so well that day, especially defensively. For the knockers of the Panthers, and they've not quite hit their straps. They haven't they're still third, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, or they're in that cluster of teams.
They're sitting third,
Yeah,
6 and 4.
Yeah,
they're
6
on
and
the
4.
You're right, same amount of points as the Raiders, the Dolphins, Storm,
Yeah.
Sharks, but their for and against is significantly better.
And that comes down to the defense, right? Mm-hmm. So we were looking at them with our attacking lens and seeing that they've not clicked. And for me, part of that was the difference in defensive pressure, but the goal line defense is sensational. So. I'm backing the Panthers in this one.
Yeah.
Hard to see the Broncos without the string puller Adam Reynolds.
Because I reckon if Reynolds doesn't go down last week, they might have won that game,
Yeah.
the Broncos.
Reynolds down.
It's a big loss.
He is.
And no disrespect to Jock Madden, but that's a big drop-off from Adam Reynolds.
Huge. And look, what I'm really looking forward to in this is the battle of the middles. Leota, Fisher-Harris versus Carrigan, Flegler, Haas.
Yeah, wow. That's like 2 Origin forward packs going.
This is one to watch.
Yeah.
Like that battle is going to be insane.
I'm so glad that Carrigan wasn't suspended for that
Yeah,
drop
me
as well.
too.
That's the story for another day. Friday night then. It's an amazing Friday night because the Friday night 6 o'clock game has so much meaning. St. George Illawarra Dragons, they've sacked their coach. You know that thing that they bounce back?
Yeah.
That's kind of a myth, I think, if you look at the stats of it.
I actually read a book, and that is disproven.
Yes. So it's a myth that you bounce back after losing your coach. But
And
you
it's
never-
actually there's actually a
Yeah,
study on it. There's
Yeah,
an actual
yeah.
study on it, which
Yeah.
goes to show that
it's not true.
No.
However, maybe something's in the air at the Dragons. And
well,
they've got,
there's Jason Ryles.
Jason
they want
Ryles,
him.
yeah.
He's at
Lomax
the
is back
Roosters.
in.
Lomax is back.
he's going to want to prove a point. Little,
Sure
I think
is.
they've brought back in maybe. And then against the Roosters, who really need to win this game.
Yeah.
Because if they lose this game, the rest of the games they got this season, it's actually kind of a tough draw for the Roosters. So this is a big, big game.
Yeah, it is. Interesting as well whether or not Dragons make late changes and move Ben Hunt to 9. Be one to keep an eye on. But yeah, a game that really for the Roosters in their situation at the moment. Couple of injuries as well. I think Drew Hutchison is starting halfback.
Yeah, Manu's out.
Manu's out. They've got to come. There'll be shell shock there from the Cowboys' defeat, and then what they served up, and some of the comments about lack of connection, Trent Robinson not preparing his team. They've got to go and do it for him.
Yeah. Having a week off in between games is going to help them a lot. Because I think people have sort of not really paid enough attention to the fact they had so many games, such a small window. That's going to give fatigue, especially for a slightly older squad.
Yeah.
Like Tedesco did look a bit tired in the last couple of games. I think having a week between games should help them.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's a tough one to call.
It is, but it's Roosters have got to get that win.
You got the Roosters there.
Yeah.
All right. Then the second Friday night game, another blockbuster. South Sydney Rabbitohs against the Parramatta Eels. The Eels are $3.10 outsiders on Ladbrokes. But I think that's probably fair. I think the Eels are. I think I've said it already. I reckon you put a line through the Eels making the finals.
You know what? I was reluctant to commit to that. Let's see what they've got this Friday. Coming up against South. Like, imagine the buzz around this game last year.
Yep. It should be the match of the round.
Should be.
But I just think the Souths have far too much for them.
They probably do. I think Sean Lane's out for a long term as
Yeah.
well, isn't he? So
Yeah. Second time he's been out this year.
yeah, look, Souths and a comfortable win.
And that's the thing you talk about Sean Lane being out, their depth. They lose a couple of players in key positions. So Regan Campbell-Gillard's still out.
Yeah.
Then you drop 2. You got when your replacement for Regan Campbell-Gillard is Wiramu Greg.
Look,
that's a big drop
Yeah,
off.
it is, and any team's going to suffer. But if you look at how Parramatta set up,
It's very top heavy.
it is, and it's reliant on Borlo and RCG to play 60 to 70 minutes each week because they don't rotate those middles. And when one's down, then everyone pays the price. So,
Yeah. That's why I still think it's so strange to let Nathan Brown go. But anyway,
Yes.
the Saturday game, it's up in Coffs Harbour. Cronulla Sharks v the Newcastle Knights.
Knights were good.
Yeah, Knights were good. Ponga was amazing.
Yeah, they were.
And the Sharks are still a little bit inconsistent. They didn't look amazing against Manly.
No. They did enough, though. I'm still backing the Sharks in this one.
All right. Saturday, 5:30, West Tigers against the Cowboys. This is actually a tough game to call.
Imagine 2 weeks ago what we'd be saying.
I think the Tigers
Like,
can
seriously,
win that.
like 2 weeks ago, Cowboys. But this is actually, it should be a really good game.
I reckon it's really tough to call. That's why it's going to be my same game multi, Jimmy.
Is it? What have you got?
It is. I've got the West Tigers to win at home, Leichhardt Oval. I've just got them straight out to win. And then I've got anytime try scorer, Nofaluma and Helam Lukey at $12.66.
That Helam Lukey's $12.66.
Yeah.
That Helam Lukey's a good player, isn't he?
And I said that on the podcast early on. Remember when Nana got suspended? I said Helam Lukey will come in, and he's just been waiting in the wings, and he's such a good player.
You do have this Nostradamus style.
Yeah, sort of an innate ability to just see the future.
Yeah, like you called Royce Hunt scoring a try.
He scored one last week.
You were just 3 weeks premature.
So
little premature little baby you give birth to.
I can go off early sometimes. Yeah. My missus says that as well.
Filth.
No, but Helam Lukey's a really good player.
Yeah. I like that. So what, $12?
$12.66. So Tigers to win, Lukey to score a try, and Nofaluma to score a try.
I don't mind that, Charlie.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you like it, Jimmy. But the Tigers, like, even though they lost 20-0, I thought they showed signs of, you know.
You know what, Charlie? I'm going to go with you on this one. I'm going to back the Tigers.
Let's go. Come on, the Tigers. And then Saturday night,
Storms v the Dolphins.
the Storms.
Yeah, I just like to throw
The
that in
Storms v the Dolphins. Yeah. What do you reckon about that one?
there. That's my same game multi.
Hey, the same game multi-a-thon.
It is. Storm -6.5. That's.
You reckon it should be higher?
Yes, I do. That'll change.
Do you know what it is, mate? The betting companies are scared with the Dolphins.
Yes.
Because they just get, every time they're the underdogs,
Yeah.
they win. Every time they're the favourites, they don't. It's so hard to pick them.
So I've gone Storm.
Yeah.
-6.5. Munster anytime try scorer. And Storm to win both halves. You know I like that.
Oh, I know you love that one, Jimmy. I know you love that one. Storm to win both halves. $2.30. That one's paying just to win both halves.
I know.
$5.90. So half as exciting as mine. And yours feels like yours feels also like, I don't know. Like it's a lot to happen for just $5. $5.90. Okay, I've took 90 cents away from you there, but
yeah. So rounded up close to 6, mate. You can't be knocking back.
oh no, mate. I wouldn't knock it back if it happened. It's just not as good as if mine happened.
Oh well, I know that.
But we'll see how you go, mate. We'll see how you go. Dolphins anyway. There's talk about the 18th team being in Brisbane. So maybe another team in Brisbane.
Maybe.
Yeah, I reckon that's risky. Just because the Dolphins are going well doesn't mean
Yeah.
that we need to do the same thing as that.
Well, you're a smart man, Charlie.
Then Sunday, the Doggies against the Titans. And the Bulldogs are underdogs. $2.10 underdogs on Ladbrokes.
I imagine they've had a kick up the backside at home against the Titans. Yeah, Bulldogs. I'll be calling that game with Gordon Tallis as well. That could be interesting.
And he's had a big week. He's probably worked. He's worked for 5 days. It's more than he works normally in a month.
Yeah.
So he's going to be exhausted.
He'll be fatigued and emotional.
So if things start going pear-shaped, you won't want to be in that commentary box.
No, I
with him.
might. I was going to say if the Bulldogs are up at half time, I might leave, but then I'll probably leave if the Titans are up at half time, knowing how they go in the second half and not be part of a comeback. I don't want to be a part of any comebacks.
No.
Because
either way, there's going to be
Gordy. He's still got that spark
Yeah.
in him, and I don't want to set him off.
You and him both have that. Sometimes where something clicks, especially calling games, and your eyes change, and sort of you both of you start tensing your biceps, getting all excited. You're like twitching.
Mate, imagine Golden Point on Sunday.
Can't. I hope it does happen actually. And then the final game.
You hope it does.
Hope it does happen. Yeah.
All for the theatre.
All for the theatre. The final one then, Raiders at home to the Manly Seagulls. The turnaround of the Canberra Raiders is not being spoken about enough, but it's actually incredible what they've done.
What are they, 6 in a row now?
Yeah,
5 in a row,
I
6
think they've won 5 in a row. They're going for 6 this weekend.
I can see them getting that this weekend as well. The Seagulls, it'll be a tough trip down there.
Yeah.
And when you're on a roll, you're just so confident, and the Seagulls are going the opposite way, and the Canberra Raiders are going the other way. So I fancy the Raiders in this one.
The thing about that's probably not spoken about is just an incredible job Ricky Stewart's done in galvanizing the group. It feels like he as a coach is best when his back's completely against the wall and he's so good at bringing everyone together. So everyone was like putting a line through Canberra. Whiten's going, it's stinking at Canberra, you know, there's bad signs there. But then he brings them all together. Yeah. And like now it's like they're all playing as hard as they've played in the last couple of years.
They're playing really well. They really are, and a lot of it would come down to their coach.
Because the same thing happened when all the stories came out about Joe Tarpany, and that stuff last year. There was 2 years ago, maybe it was now, so much negativity, and then he turned the switch and got them all together again.
Yeah,
he's doing a great job.
He is.
So you got Canberra 6 in a row.
Yes.
All right, and June, before we go, I got to let you know that the people at Tetley's have actually sent us some stuff. It's a little gift for you.
How good's that?
Tetley's Extra Strong.
Tetley's Extra Strong, mate. If you're having a brew, get yourself a Tetley's Extra Strong.
I think
if you want to sort yourself out with a proper brew, Tetley's Extra Strong. Tetley's, you can have that for nothing.
This isn't sponsored. This isn't even sponsored.
But full strength. This is the tea I drink at home.
Yeah.
And there's no better drop in Australia. And trust me, tried a lot of them. So big shout out to Tetley's. They sent us a nice little mug set.
Some mugs, even some marble coasters as well.
Marble coasters, and a teapot.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
They haven't confirmed this, but I assume now Endless Tea supplier.
Oh, yeah.
And I assume probably a sponsorship as well at some point. I mean, if you're sending us this, we'll send you an invoice.
All right, that's a good place to wrap it up, Charlie. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next week on Midweek Matters.